Hello and welcome back to part 4 in my Oxygen Not Included game. To remind us where we were, we've started to build coal generation down at the bottom reaches of our colony. We have a nice big water tank, we have water reclamation and fully functioning plumbing and latrines now. So time to get back to it. We currently have 8 dupes, we have enough beds, we have enough tables for them to eat at, and we're largely just waiting for work to continue at this point. Down here especially, you can see the coal generator is now being built. There's a little bit of water down here which we want to clean up. Nicely, we've also started to find, as we get closer and closer to the swamp biome, fungal spores for mushrooms. So when we have this sorted out, I'm going to start looking at a mushroom farm. Now this storage bin here is just to store the coal, ready for the generators to make it easier to keep these working without as much running around. I'm going to double check the state of our research. Going to want that decontamination very soon for the carbon skimmer, because we'll start generating using coal. We'll generate a lot of carbon dioxide. A quick skim through air systems. We'll want to at some point, but we're not quite there yet. We're going to want the ore scrubber when we go into start going to the biomes. And I'm going to want refined renovations for the fire pole to get those started. Quickly check how our power overlay is doing. Okay, at the moment there's not currently any cooking going on, so I'm going to take the chance to use our rock crusher to create some copper out of our copper ore. We don't need a huge amount of this yet. We'll need more and more actual refined metals as we go along, but you need that for anything like automation, which is what I'm going to be putting in down here to make sure we're not wasting coal. So once we have it, we're going to be putting a smart battery down, but we can't afford that yet. We're also going to have a power transformer, because the coal generator puts out a lot more power directly than our system wants to take. But putting it through a transformer will make it a lot easier for our main system to handle it. It's also going to need a lot of replacement of our electrical wiring, so we may have a short period when we are without power when we get to doing that. But for now, we'll wait for our copper to be created. That's some now at least, so not enough. Thinking at the same time as preparing where will be a good place for our forthcoming mushroom farm. I'm thinking over here would work. There's a bit of space underneath there for another set of latrines if I like, that can go straight into the already existing plumbing work. So maybe put our mushroom farm over here. Everyone's eating, so may as well start planning that area out. A mushroom farm is actually going to be a little more complicated than we are used to, and we won't actually start be able to do it until we have slime, because that's what mushrooms need to grow properly. That doesn't mean we can't have some stuff ready. So to keep idle dupes busy, at least digging out. Increase the priority on this slightly, so the work gets done. This is, of course, a very primitive way of refining the metal. Later on, we'll create a much better, much more power-intensive way. But by then, we'll have our coal plants working, and we won't be worried quite so much about power. Have the copper for the smart battery now, so let's go and build that. Research complete. We now have fire poles. So, time to implement them. Fire poles also require metal ores, and we've got very little iron, plenty of copper, so I'm going to use those for that for the moment. Now, as it built that all the way down our shaft, and this is why we had left a gap on one side anyway. Oops. And again over here. Okay, we now have all the copper we've asked it to make. It's enough for everything down here. Should also have enough for our automation wire once that's finished to get all this system going. Our research is currently not doing anything. So looking at what else we're going to need in the near future. Decontamination, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, and it's that time again. Nothing terribly exciting there available. And anyone else would require the building of a new barracks at this stage. Though we have plenty of food. Actually, I think I'll take nails. Has another night owl. Good to have someone else working through the night. And they can have a lot of interest for morale. So there's another short building project. I'm going to destroy one of those just to make room for the extra table we're going to need. And add some decoration. And the last bit when I can. Currently with those blocks missing, we can't actually put that last bit art in. And of course we have skills. So nails is going to become... So you'll notice on these, it does show us how many people have each of the skills already. So I'm going to create nails as another advanced researcher to keep research available all throughout the day. I have most people set to never do research, but I'll change that for nails. And I'll add nails to the nighttime shift we've set up earlier for Ada. How are we doing down here? We have everything built. Okay, so automation time. We haven't yet researched automation wiring, have we? It appears here instead. Does it? I've forgotten to research automation wiring. Well, let's get that sorted out. increase the priority on that storage bin so people start bringing it the coal. Oh, there we go, as if by magic. And there we go, research complete. So now we can get back to what we were doing. So, automation. Automation is a separate set of wiring you put in the background. Very simply, in this case, I'm going to go from our smart battery, which as you can see will send a green signal when it has low power and a red signal when it has high power, so basically to turn things on when it's short of power, up to our coal generator. That one's just there for later. I won't need that immediately, so we're not going to have it running as well. And we can set the smart battery to send its green signal at 25%, thereabouts. And to stop running at 90. So for automation, you can see smart battery, green signal when it's less than low until high threshold is reached. Now it's above high threshold, it sends red to turn things off again. We also need actual connections power-wise. To the battery, then from the battery to the transformer. But that isn't enough to actually give us the power we need. Upstairs, we're not actually connected to our main network of wiring yet. Which is why we have the other space next to ladders all the way down. To put our diffuser back for the moment. Do have a clear run up, so that's great. For that, we need heavy duty wire. Heavy watt wire. But first we need to get rid of the wiring that's already here. This is where transformers will become our friends. We'll run around that all the way up. Not quite attaching to our existing network up there yet. We have a skill, some skills we may as well assign. Electrical engineering down here, and Meep can have strength. So we've got that wiring up, we'll start to replace all the rest of the wiring. to our research briefly. We didn't quite finish decontamination. So let's get back to that. I've got that transformer backwards. So down here we're also going to want, once research is done, some way to deal with the carbon dioxide that's going to start collecting. Speaking of which, I want an airflow tile to allow the carbon dioxide to get out of here and come and sink down. Carbon dioxide is the heaviest gas in the game, so it will always sink down, which is one of the reasons we're putting all this below the base. You're also going to start seeing why I have these two tile gaps between all my floors. It's to make room for the transformers that eventually we're going to need. Need to speed things up a little to try and get all this work down here done. You see everyone's now using the fire pole, which just allows them to move around the base much faster. It's a shame there's no equivalent for going up. And finally, what are we still lacking connections wise? There we go, we now have power. Why don't we have power? Where's the power transfer? Oh, maybe I had it right the first time. Quality achievement earned. What's that? Ah, we know we're using automation. And yes, clearly I had to transform backwards because now everything is working quite happily again, don't you? New blueprint. I'll take the balm lily seeds, ready for later. Skills. Ada. We don't have anyone improved construction yet, so we'll go there. Okay, so time to look at the rest of our wiring. So as I mentioned, we're going to need transformers to handle the amount of power we're now putting through. I'm also going to need less of this infrastructure now, so we can destroy some of that. So here we have a slightly odd point where we have secondary power generation, which we're going to keep active. So we need a transformer to get power from the main line that's coming through. And one to take it out again. So we're going to run another heavy duty wire this way. And we can connect this transformer into here, connect that to the existing wiring, and that should then be okay again. Same up here, just for the light. Though it's a little bit of a waste just for a light. Excellent, over here is now done as well. So here we're going to feed into the system. I'm going to put a smart battery in the middle of here to help regulate the actual power flow as well. We can't run heavy duty wire through our tiles, so we need to use these bridging tiles to handle that for us. Power loop detected, we don't like that. No, we don't like that system after all, it turns out. Of course we don't. Right, so that's fine. Let's destroy all of this for the moment. It's just overcomplicating matters. Everything should work fine over here regardless. Though we still need power for our light. Oh, gosh. While not paying attention, our food supplies have run right down. So time to get back to this. We need to make some mush bars so they can then be fried. I'm also going to automate, as you can see, the smart battery to the manual generator so the dupes aren't asked to use it unless the power supply is low. To save them time. So there we have, hopefully a food shortage is going to be resolved relatively quickly. We should be okay. We have a couple of dedicated cooks now. Though in fact what I'm going to do is butcher a few of our so we'll look for the oldest ones. It's got an age 56. Pause for a moment so I can check them all. That one's age 31. That one's age 23. 49. 56. We'll kill those, the elderly ones. Which will also allow us to make barbecue, which is very efficient in terms of calories. Though clearly we didn't kill enough for that. There we go, that's better. Now they've collected this, we can make 3 rounds of barbecue, which will very much help our food situation. Though we can't rely on doing that too much, or we'll run out of animals, of course. So it's probably time to start looking at the next biome. I mentioned earlier that before we go into swamp where we have slime, we're going to need chlorine to deal with it. So I'm going to look for the one that seems to have the biggest chlorine supplies, which looks like it's probably this one. This seems as good a place as any to launch into a new biome. Caustic biome isn't too bad. The main thing we need to worry about is getting out the gases that aren't good for us, and we will get access to Drecos, which are great for farming. So what we're going to do is just up here create a small little airlock system to start capturing all this gas. Make sure we have the research we need for that. Not quite, so let's finish HVAC, which is what we're going to need while we wait. Now we are less concerned about power. I'm also going to finish pumping out this area. Because just to look at our power network now, as you can see, we have a current load of 0.45 kilowatts, maximum of 20. And our coal generator can put out 600. If we start to run low, we have another one ready to just plug straight in. And we still have our manual generator for emergencies. I'm going to pass on all of those. But it does indicate new skills. We have another critter rancher. Because soon I'm going to have more ranches once we have the Drecos as well. Our artwork is still crude, so there's no point keeping it. As you can see, our food solutions, we do have planned for it, we can resolve that reasonably quickly again. Oops, we forgot to wire that back in, it looks like. Yes, we did. A little trickier than most because of its placement, but we can put another transformer in here. Always make sure not to cross the wires between your heavy watt wires and your normal wiring, otherwise you will very, very quickly get blackouts around your system. I mentioned the carbon skimmers earlier, which we're going to use water to filter our carbon dioxide from the air down here to help with our carbon dioxide problem. So build that. That's going to have some automation added to it as well, because it uses water, which we're okay for at the moment, but we don't have an infinite supply, and we're still using a lot of that for our research and our cooking. I have idle people, trying to find a way to keep them busy. Is our research finished yet? Yes, so HVACs. HVACs are the equivalent to our liquid reservoirs, but for gases. Oh, so the gas reservoirs come along with that. And we're going to need plenty of them. For what's coming next, because we have two separate gases up here to worry about. We have chlorine, which is what we want, and hydrogen, which is just going to be there for a while. But we'll be storing that ready for use later when we can do hydrogen power generation as well as our coal. Skill points down here for digging. We also want tidying good for strength. And just in case of problems later, it's always worth having someone who can do the plumbing. But with that in preparation for next time, we've got coal going. We've started to look at mushrooms and a few other things. That's where we'll leave it for today.